challenging and provoking governments with skeletons in their cupboards all over the world.
We should condemn the disclosure of any classified information by individuals and organizations.
The people who are in power will not give that power away freely. That is just unfortunately a fact of nature.
The Defense Department demands that WikiLeaks return immediately all versions of documents obtained directly or indirectly from the Department of Defense databases or records.
In this video I'm about to show you is the man in the back carrying a tripod, which is obviously confused as being an AK-47 or somewhat of a weapon of mass destruction, so called by the government here in Iraq. I believe this video from WikiLeaks is trying to expose the corruption of politics in the government and in war, which is no new thing. Throughout the centuries there have always been corruption in the midst of war. So if you don't want to see these men die, I would suggest you turn the other way. But to let you know, one of these men is a cameraman and the other is a news reporter. And these men are actually being hunted down by the government because they want to reveal what is going on in the Iraqi war to the U.S. public and to those who would view it on their news sites. Unfortunately, the United States government didn't want these guys to do this, and this is what transpired from that. Again, the man in the back is not carrying a weapon. That is a tripod.
Roger that. We have no personnel east of our position. So, you are free to engage over. No, he was right in front of the Brad. About there 1 o'clock. Haven't seen anything since then.
Just fucking, once you get on, just open up and run.
I see your element. You got about 400 feet out along this,
You're clear.
Notice to your left.
Let me know when you get it.
We'll shoot.
Notice to the right in the center of these men, a man is carrying a camera. That is a camera. He is shouldering a camera. And he is one of the news reporters. These men, none of them have any weapons whatsoever.
Light them all up.
Come on, fire.
The man over here has a phone in his hand. He is calling someone. Again, right here in the mirror, about to shoulder a camera over here where I showed you. Another man, as his colleague, is on the phone getting information for a reporting. So here is what happens. The man right here you see is already wounded on the ground. Obviously they want to make sure that he doesn't tell the story.
Hey, you shoot, I'll talk. Hotel 26, Crazy Horse 18.
Crazy Horse 18, this is Hotel 26, over.
Roger. Frank, Crazy Horse 18.
Right here you see a van coming to the man's aid. This van is full of children, by the way, on their way to school. A program that they were having in Iraq. This young man decides to stop and help this wounded man on the ground, whom he knows is a reporter. And this is what they do to him.
Permission to engage. Picking up the wounded. We're trying to get permission to engage. 18, engage. Clear. Come on. Clear. Clear.
This van has been hit so hard by the shelling of this Apache helicopter that it was literally pushed over into this position from over here. This is a devastating action of corruption here in this time of war. These men knew they have more than enough ability in these new technical advanced helicopters to know exactly who is who and who is carrying weapons and who is not. These men have the opportunity to zoom in anytime that they please and could read even the newspaper from this modern technology that they have of whom is on the ground about this distance and could actually read the story on that newspaper. Yet they decided that these men were corruptors and a threat to their existence. These men who had no weapons. This is why Hillary Clinton doesn't want these records exposed. This is why the Pentagon doesn't want these records exposed. And now WikiLeaks is leaking even more. This is something that will happen towards the end of the world and an end of the government of mankind. As soon as Jesus comes, all these things will end.
Come around clear. Roger.
The United States strongly condemns the illegal disclosure of classified information. I will not comment on or confirm what are alleged to be stolen State Department cables, but I can say that the United States deeply regrets the disclosure of any information that was intended to be confidential.
Did you know that officials in the Bush administration, including Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, were about to be charged with war crimes by the Spanish government for their role in authorizing torture until the Obama White House stepped in to essentially force Spain to stop their prosecutors and judges?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Coleman, you're the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve, right? Okay.
That's correct.
Have you done any investigations concerning the Federal Reserve's role in deciding not to save Lehman Brothers, which led to shockwaves that went through the entire financial system?
In that particular area, I don't generally comment on specific investigations, but we do not currently have an investigation in that particular area.
All right. What about the $1 trillion plus in expansion of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet since last September? Have you conducted any investigations regarding that?
Right now we have a, we call it a review, and I don't know if the term investigation may have different connotations. So we're actually conducting a fairly high-level review of the various lending facilities collectively, which would include, the TALF, a variety of the different programs that are in process. So we're looking at them at a fairly high level to identify risk.
Well, I understand that, but we're talking about events that started unfolding 8 months ago. Have you reached any conclusions about the Fed expanding its balance sheet by over $1 trillion since last September?
We have not yet reached any conclusions.
Do you know who received that money?
We're in the process right now of doing our review, and
Right, but you're the Inspector General. My question to you specifically is, do you know who received that $1 trillion plus that the Fed extended and put on its balance sheet since last September? Do you know the identity of the recipients?
I do not know. We have not looked at that specific area at this particular point on those reviews.
What about Bloomberg's report that there are trillions of dollars in off-balance sheets transactions that the Federal Reserve has entered into since last September? Are you familiar with those off-balance sheet transactions?
I think it may be important at this point, too, just to bring up a certain aspect related to our jurisdiction. And just to clarify perhaps some of my earlier comments. We are the Inspector General for the Board of Governors, and we have direct oversight over board programs and operations, and are also able to look at board delegated functions to the reserve banks, as well as the board's oversight and supervision of the reserve banks. We do not have jurisdiction to directly go out and audit reserve bank activities specifically.
I appreciate the tenor of the conversations. I think it will actually yield results before the end of the year, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue in the months ahead. Thank you very much, everybody.
The message is actually directed at everybody on this planet, but most especially in the United States. We have entered a new phase of attack by the shadow government. They are now using phosgene gas to poison living things all over this planet. Birds are dropping right out of the sky, fish are bubbling up dead all over the place. There's several different agents that are involved, but phosgene is the primary one. There are people who are having their swimming pool waters tested. Phosgene, when it meets with water, makes a specific kind of acid, and so it's easy to tell whether you're in an area of chemtrails where phosgene is being sprayed.
This is the entryway to the Temple Institute in Jerusalem. This is where they're storing all the articles. This is where they're training the priesthood and everything like that. Here's the first golden menorah constructed since the destruction of the Holy Temple in 70 A.D. We'll get to the importance of that in just a second. Here's the garments of the ordinary priests and the loom. It's already done, completely handmade, directly to the Mosaic Law. Here's the spinning wheel with colored threads arranged for the high priest's garments. Here's 2 of the 72 golden bells, all of them already made, to be around the hem of the high priest's robe, ready to go. Here's some of the golden flasks needed for water libation. Here's the silver shovel for removing ashes from the altar of sacrifice. Here's the gold and silver-plated ram's horn to be blown in the holy temple services. Here's the silver trumpets to announce temple services and regular festivals. Here's one of the harps to be used for music in the temple services. Here's one of the lyres to be used for music in the temple services. They got the instruments already done. Here's some of the wooden and golden lots used to determine which goat will be used for the sacrifice, which one will be the scapegoat as well. Here is the view in the middle, and that is pure gold, folks, of the golden altar of incense in the middle. Here's the actual knives right now sitting ready to go to be used for the sacrifices being offered at the temple. They're done. Here's the reconstructed out of gold, the table of showbread. Here's the laver. There's one of the incense chalices. Here's the actual garments waiting for the high priest. Here's the close-up of the breastplate. No, that's not fake ones you get in the gumball machine. They're spending some serious cash, folks. Those are actual jewels. Okay, in fact, things are getting so close, folks, that for the first time since it was removed by the Romans at the destruction of the temple in 70 A.D., the golden menorah is not just finished, it's once again returned to the temple area. And right now, this happened just a couple weeks ago, folks. Wake up. The golden crown for the high priest to serve in the temple is now complete.